Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at Pacar. Pacar is a 32-bit virus made specifically for Windows 10, which is good because our testing environment is inside of Windows 10. Before we run the malware itself, we'll take a look at it on the Threat Insights portal. Both the website and the malware are courtesy of Nike Analytics. We can see that this is the malware name. It actually doesn't come with the .exe extension. We have to add that ourselves. Last analysis was 29 minutes ago. Size is 92 kilobytes, uploaded by Nike, and a 0 reputation. If we come down here, Reversing Labs has flagged it as malicious. They've just given it a heuristics detection. Virus Total has 57 out of 76 detections, and the popular threat label is Trojan.Spazicab/Pacar. Hatching Triage gives it a 10 out of 10. AnyRun gives it a 100 out of 100 with a threat level 2 of malicious activity. Kaspersky OpenTip does flag it as malicious. UnpackMe flags it as suspicious with 1 AV detection. And CyberFortress gives it malicious confidence 99.9% with dropper virus zbot BLIC. If we go to the details and file identifiers, your MD5, SHA-1, and SHA-256 are right here. However, if you want to follow along either during or after the video, these will also be in the comments. Sorry, I hiccuped. Dang. In the comments section down below. If we go ahead and minimize this, we can see that we have the malware right here. This reminds me of Brontalk. I don't think I've ever seen any other malware sample that has the standard folder icon other than Brontalk. So that's interesting. But if we take a look at the tools we'll be using to analyze it, we're only using System Informer and Process Monitor for this video because it doesn't try to communicate with a C2 or anything like that. It's not sending off any of your data. It's just doing silly little guy virus things. Last but not least, let's take a look at the properties. And if we go to details, we can see that there's absolutely nothing here. No certificate, which, I mean, at this point, the certificate would be very suspicious, but there's also no details for a folder either. And the fact that you can open details is interesting as well. But with that being said, the last thing to do is run the malware. As a matter of fact, before I do that, give me 1 second. There's actually something that I needed to do really quick. I need to pull up something on Google Translate, and this will come from the malware. Now, we can run the malware. So if we double click it without running it as administrator, we do have nashka.rtf. And if we open this, it will open with something from Indonesia. I'm not sure what the language is. I'm assuming it's just Indonesian, but in case I'm wrong, you know. I did put this in Google Translate, however. This says A, background. As for the developments of the 8 dragons, Nagasari, Nagabonar, Bonar, etc., but not animals like vermes or worms or Ambon bananas. And that's literally it. I mean, we try to scroll down or expand it. That's literally all that's here. Matter of fact, I didn't actually put this in Google Translate. Let me do that really quick. It just says Chapter 1 Introduction. So, somebody got lazy. But we'll go ahead and close this. We could tell the malware is out of Indonesia now. However, something interesting is going on. As you can see, once we close the folder, the malware does not close. Because, surprise, surprise, not just a folder. Wow, I know, surprises everybody. If we come take a look over here at Process Monitor, we're going to do 2 filters. So we're going to do process name is, not typing all that, and operation is create file. We're going to apply that. Should take only 4 seconds or so. And once we take a look, we can see there's 32,840 events, and it's only growing. Now, the problem here is the malware is trying to do what it's supposed to do, but if you don't run it as administrator, it doesn't have the proper permissions to do so. So if we take a look down here, we see some DLLs being called and some NLS files. Okay, I don't know what the heck happened there. Pause the packet capture. And we see some more DLLs being called. Then it creates that rich text format file. However, you'll notice that it's also trying to create a bunch of EXEs in the syswell64 directory. But as you can see, it's saying access denied. That's because without giving it admin permissions, it's not going to be able to create anything in the syswell64 directory or delete it. And unfortunately, everything that it's trying to put in there is either in the syswell64 directory, or it's just trying to put it directly in the Windows directory. And that's all that it's trying to do. So without running it as admin, this isn't going to work. We can just go ahead and terminate this now, restart the computer, and we'll be completely fine. So what you have to do is run it as admin. You also get this window that says this program might not have installed correctly, which is, to me, hilarious, but we'll go ahead and close that. And now we will run the process as administrator. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure, why not? We'll click yes, and we get the same thing, but immediately if we scroll down, we can now see a bunch of folders being created. So it's in this order. It's the original file, ebrr.exe, mmtask.exe, servicehost.exe, and then another servicehost.exe. You know, I don't quite think that servicehost.exe is supposed to be either in all caps, running under the Explorer, or have a folder icon. Very interesting. And you may be wondering what it's doing. Now, if your first instinct is to think it's just trying to make the computer unusable, you'd be absolutely correct. So if we delete this and resume the packet capture now, we can see that it's doing the exact same thing. However, now that it's running as administrator, it's able to create, run, close, and delete all of these executables over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But there's one more thing that is extremely nasty with this virus. And to show that, we are going to have to restart the computer. So we'll come down here, we'll click restart, and we will see what will happen. If you're going to think, oh no, it's going to wipe the computer. It's not going to do that. Computer will actually boot. Imagine it doesn't, because I'm recording, and it's just like, nope, your MBR has been overwritten. But if we try to go back into the computer, we will log in. However, where's the desktop? Where's the taskbar? Where's our icons? Where's anything, right? So what it's actually doing is, remember how we saw all of those folders or, executables disguised as folders that were immediately opening and closing and opening and closing? Well, here's the thing. One of those were running at all times. There was a service host. Matter of fact, there were two service host.exes that were running constantly as basically parent processes that couldn't be closed. They have actually replaced the original service host.exe. And as a result, we're not able to do anything on the computer. Now, you'll notice, if it's overwritten service host, why did it just not, immediately blue screen or not let us in the computer at all? My thinking is that what it did is it created a copy of the original service host.exe and appended its code to the end of it and set that as the actual service host, either renamed the old one or deleted it or whatever else have you. And because it did that, the computer's actually not able to boot up correctly. Now, if we do Control-Alt-Delete and we try to pull up the task manager, we can see all of these tasks running in the background. They're immediately opening and they're immediately closing. So I haven't actually tried this during testing. I'm going to try it now, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to Run New Task, and we're going to do explorer.exe, and you are able to actually get back in the computer that way. But here's the thing. Your average computer user is not going to know how to do that. So at this point, the computer, until they get it to a repair shop or just reset the computer entirely, is screwed. They're not going to be able to do anything to fix it. But that's really all that there is for the Pacar malware. You can obviously see it running in the task manager. It doesn't really do anything to hide itself. Obviously, if we open System Informer and bring that over here, We can see it's all running at the bottom. None of these are running where they're supposed to be, the service hosts, under services.exe. They're all just immediately running under Explorer. As a matter of fact, these weren't actually running under Explorer because these were running before Explorer opened, meaning they have their own parent process, which is very interesting. So service host.exe is running its own tree. That is the parent process, and that is the actual service host that's running for starting up the Explorer. But that's going to be it for this video. Really nefarious virus. Doesn't really have any economic purpose or anything like that. Really just to screw you over and just absolutely ruin your day. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, though. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know what you would like to see next. And let me know if there's anything I did not do in this video that you want to see in future ones. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.